Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate it's been a while since I've done a video like this, but look, so much crazy stuff has been going on over the last week that I really had to jump on, make a video, and break down exactly what I believe has been going on, and also give my thoughts based on the past week in terms of what this means for the crypto bull market. Are we now about to go into a bear market? Is this just a little blip? And are we going to be carrying on onwards and upwards? So if that sounds like something you're interested in, stay tuned, watch to the end, because I want to share all of my thoughts, all of my views on what I believe is about to happen over the next few weeks and months and until the end of this bull run. So we'll start off with Bitcoin. Let's get straight into this. And obviously, this is on the Bitcoin weekly. We can see massive wick down to test support. So we actually found support at our 50-week moving average. And if we just kind of go back and look in the past, it's the same moving average that we actually found support back in our last bull run. So I'm happy that we were able to hold that 50-week moving average. Something else I'd also like to take a look at is the weekly Gaussian channel too. So if we just kind of go back in time, because this for me is a really important indicator when we're looking at the longer term health of our bull market. If we go back to 2017, or in fact back to 2016, towards the start of that bull run, we can kind of see that once we got above the Gaussian channel, we held it. We held it throughout 2016, early 2017, and then we started to go sort of vertical. And the next time we came down and we actually closed into that Gaussian channel, we then went all the way through it and we fell out the bottom end of it. We can see exactly the same thing happened in 2019. We had a strong rally up, we broke through it. I remember this period, everybody was starting to get super bullish, thinking, right, we're going to 20K, off to new all-time highs. Price came down. As soon as price closed into it, we struggled. We couldn't really maintain above it again. And eventually we came down and we closed below it. And that was obviously the COVID crash. And then in 2020, we then got above it again, we based off it as support, and we carried on all the way up to the top of our bull market before entering it again. We entered it briefly. We didn't actually close, but we sort of wicked into it, and we managed to avoid actually closing into the Gaussian channel only just. We based off it again, and then we made our all-time high. And then as soon as we closed into it, we came all the way down and through the outside of it, or the bottom of it, should we say. And again, once we got back in it and we closed above it, we've then started our current bull trend. And right now, we've come down and we've wicked just above it. So what I'm trying to say is that if this is to continue as a bull market, we've got some pretty clear invalidation points here. One is not closing below the 50-week moving average, and one is not closing a week inside the weekly Gaussian channel. Okay, obviously these are both coming in at similar areas. Over the next week, we'd expect these to move up to maybe around 51,000, 52,000, and so on. So this support, if you want to call it that, is going to be moving up over the next few weeks. And if we get into about a month's time, like the middle of September, these supports could be around about the sort of 54K level, which is a level that I'll reference again shortly. So just keep that level in mind. But I'm expecting there to be pretty solid support for Bitcoin over the next month around the low 50s, notably around about sort of 53, 54. That's not to say we can't wick down lower than this level, but I wouldn't expect weekly closes below that level if we are to remain in a bull market. Now, if I go on to, let's just take this Gaussian channel off. If I go on to daily, we can kind of see the resistance that we're currently up against. So we're currently up against this 200-day moving average, and that is currently providing resistance to the price. We've also got the 50-day coming in as well. So we've got some moving average resistance right now, and obviously Bitcoin starting to get a reaction. We've obviously come down, completely flushed out this market, taken all the leverage traders out, and everybody that basically wanted to sell has now sold. I mean, this was a max fear event. People absolutely capitulated. I had messages from people saying, you know, there's going to be World War III. You know, the yen is carry trade is absolutely imploding. This is going to be trillions of dollars are going to get wiped out of the market from that trade. And it was just a very, very scary moment on Sunday night, Monday morning, when we actually saw this massive candle come down. And obviously, this wasn't a time you wanted to sell. I mean, a lot of people did sell, but this was really a time that you wanted to be holding. You know, I would say potentially in hindsight, it was a good buy, but at the time, we didn't know if this was going to roll over lower and maybe come down to the low 40s or not before getting some sort of reaction. But obviously, we have bounced, and it's been a good bounce, a solid one. And in a bull market, this is the sort of reaction that you want to see. I'm a little bit hesitant to say the worst. Well, I think the worst is over, put it this way. I don't think we're going to see, you know, the massive sell-off, the massive sort of capitulation event on big volume that we saw already for Bitcoin or for Ethereum or Solana, which I will cover shortly. But for me, I feel like we're not completely out of the woods. And certainly when you get these massive pumps, this high volatility, this is not really a bullish sign. I mean, bullish sign is more consolidation, slow, sort of stepping higher. I mean, if we look at sort of what the price has done, it's breaking out, and then you sort of get this period of sort of low volatility contraction, then we go again. It kind of steps up. This type of price action tends to be a bit more concerning. It's high volatility, markets are starting to panic, people are starting to get scared, people are starting to make rash decisions. So I feel that a lot of people that have potentially gone in here, they've sort of FOMO'd in, and then you've got people that have been in longs that have decided to take profits. You've probably got people that were stuck in longs from this range that have then decided to cover their long positions as well. And you've got some selling now coming into the market. So let's just try on the drawing tools. I appreciate this is quite messy, but let's just have a look at where potentially I think we could go. Now, just stepping back, obviously, this is the consolidation that I was looking at. It's pretty much a bull flag pattern. And we've been in this consolidation for a long time. We'd obviously pierced the underside of this, but we've recaptured it now. So that's something for me, that recapturing is something that I'm viewing as very, very positive. If we then look at a slightly sort of lower time frame level, let's just go onto the 4-hour. We can see that again, there's another 200 moving average here. This is obviously the 4-hour 200 moving average that we found as resistance, and obviously we pushed into that. So I think what I'm looking for now is some sort of pullback from this area. I marked this as a bit of a level that I thought we might resist. I put down this call it 61,000 as being quite a key zone that I want to see us recapture for us then to start making our way up to the top of this prior range around about the 70k mark. We've obviously been, or we have seemed to be struggling at that level. It's looking like we're rejecting. So I think from here, we're probably going to come down, and this might not happen right away, but we're probably going to come down at some point and test 57,500. 57,500. We've also got this ascending trend line at that level. It's our 328 fib. And I think this might provide a bounce. So I think it's totally reasonable that we might stay in this level. And who knows, if we can then take out this 62, 63k area, we might then be off to the races. So personally, as a trader who's looking to position in on Bitcoin now, obviously I deleveraged a bit on Sunday. I held off during this move. and things have now started to recover. So me personally, from what I deleveraged, I'm now looking to re-enter. So for me, the first level I'm interested in is 57,500. Okay. After that, if that level fails, or let's say we come down, we might bounce again, and then we put in a lower high, and then obviously the odds become even more higher that we will trade down and we will fill out some of this space down here. The next level I'm looking at is around about this 618, and it comes in at that level I mentioned earlier, which is 54,000. Now, you've got that. You've also got this low here from July. So I really like this 54K area. Just under that, we've also got the channel pattern that I was mentioning. And we've also got an ascending trend line as well, which is sort of coming from, I think, let's just see where that's coming in from. Yeah, this is just connecting some highs and lows, which I've left in here because I still think potentially it could be relevant in price. So yeah, we've got support coming in the low 50s, and I would really expect that region to hold. Like I say, we've got the 50-week moving average, we've got the top of the weekly Gaussian channel, we've got previous low support, we've got a 618 fib. There's some really nice confidence there. That would give us a higher low. So potentially we're going to go sideways, consolidate. Eventually, sort of when this area is tracked into longs, we'll try and put pressure on those longs, come and make a higher low, flush out longs from this level, and then we can start to go higher. I mean, throughout this move, this has really hit longs hard. I think there could be a bit of pain for anybody that's been jumping in here. For traders that are getting out of their positions, they're going to be looking to re-enter. And potentially I see either this 382, so this 57.5 level holding, or if not, coming down to around about 54K. Then I'll be looking for a higher low. And then at that point, I'll be looking for Bitcoin to make its way higher. So like I say, potentially sideways. If we lose this trend line, like it will do one or two things. This trend line and this 382 will hold, and we'll come up here, consolidate high, and then go higher, or consolidate around the mid-range. We come down lower, we'll catch the orders down here, stop out late longs right here on this move, trying to long in the middle of the range, which is never really advisable. But I can see why people are wanting to do it, because a lot of people got taken out of their positions. They want to get straight back in, and then this gives the market a bit of a scare, and then we go higher. And I do really strongly feel that over the next 2 months, so from now until October, we will start to push back up to the 70,000 area. And I've got this box in here, and I've had this box in here since much earlier on in the summer. I think when we were consolidating here, to say that it was actually this dip. It was actually this dip, this prior dip to the low 50s, where I was telling people, look, I think we're going to go here in October. So if the price is down at low 50s, I'm happy. I am more than happy to start to get in at low 50s on the basis that come October time, we're going to be around about 71, 72K. And it's here as well. I'm looking at this, and any moves down into the mid or low 50s, and I'm saying, well, if we're going to be at 70K in a couple of months, or even in a month, if this comes down sort of in middle of September, then we've got a month to go. That's where I want to be going long. That's where I want to be positioning, because I feel like we're going to go higher soon. And why do I think we're going to go higher? You've got a Fed now that has its finger on the trigger when it comes to rate cuts. You've also got global liquidity starting to tick up. China with stimulus, BOJ looking at their market saying, oh, well, we're not going to increase rates at all if it's going to lead to this kind of reaction from, our currency. and you've got the election as well. And obviously right now the election's an unknown, but as soon as the market gets certainty on who the candidate is, it tends to then rally. So there's a multitude of factors there that pointed towards higher prices in Q4. Q4 is also seasonally the best quarter for Bitcoin by an absolute mile. So I think we're bullish going into Q4, but up until that point, I still want to remain a little bit cautious. I don't just want to dive in here. I want to wait to see if price does come down and we get some better entries. And there's something that the markets also like to do is come down and fill wicks. So we can see this many times in the past, but if we were to come down and fill around about 50% of this wick on our current weekly, again, is coming into around about that 54K. So that's why for me, 54K is a really, really important level. If we just go over to, let's go over to the stocks as well, and we'll just look at the NASDAQ. If we look at the NASDAQ here, we can see very similar. We come down and we've tagged the 50-week moving average. We've got a nice reversal candle as well. And it just feels to me like, okay, we might come down and we might fill some of that wick. If we do, Bitcoin's probably going to come down and do a similar thing. But we're looking strong. I think stocks are going to turn around. I think stocks are going to pull around here and start to go higher. Yeah, we might consolidate for a few weeks. September can sometimes be pretty volatile month. So I would say kind of mid to end of September, that's when I'm starting to feel if stocks have not gone lower, Bitcoin's not gone lower, I'm just going to get even more confident to start to add in more aggressively on dips, targeting higher prices into Q4. I will take a quick look at Ethereum as well. So Ethereum has come down. It's actually tagged its 200-week moving average. So, this is a moving average that usually only gets tested in bear markets. I mean, if we look at, Ethereum in the past, it's kind of come down to this 2-week moving average. As soon as we've gone into the bull run, it's really sort of kicked on above it. And yeah, we've come down and we retested it. So for me, that's quite a crucial retest. Obviously, you see that we've had tested the 50-week moving average. We're currently just below it. So what I'd like to see from Ethereum is a close above this 50-week moving average, or certainly a recapture of that 50-week moving average over the next week. And if we just throw on the drawings again, so we can see everything on slightly lower time frame, you can kind of see this sort of box I've got here. This is obviously the highs from earlier this year. We've come down, we've back tested that high, so that's good to see. And in terms of where I'm personally looking to build positions on ETH, I mean, look, Ethereum's a lot weaker than Bitcoin is. So whilst Bitcoin is testing its sort of 4-hour 200 MA, Ethereum's way below it and struggling a lot more. At some point, I do see a rotation from Bitcoin or from Solana back into Ethereum. I don't know if it's just yet. We've seen that Solana's been outperforming Ethereum, Bitcoin's been outperforming Ethereum. So it's difficult to say when exactly that's going to take place, but I just think ultimately DeFi is Ethereum. Institutions aren't going to be doing DeFi and Solana with its problems and history of going down. So Ethereum is like this, decentralized, institutionalized, smart computer, smart contracts, DeFi. I mean, that's the narrative. And so far, this narrative for me has been completely discounted and overlooked. Everybody's been focusing on Solana, the casino chain, the meme coins. It's fun. It's what, everybody wants to get on and get involved with. But I really think Ethereum will have its day. And look, similar to Bitcoin, moves down to this 382, currently 2,500. I think I'd be looking for a move down there. Obviously, if things do get worse, we can come down to 2,300, and we might even come down back closer towards the 2,000s. I mean, it can happen. If we look at the daily, you will see that I have this basically this trend line going back to the low of the bear market, and that hasn't yet been tagged. I mean, currently where we are today, that's coming in around about 1942. You know, if this rollover sort of, you know, we go sideways a bit, then we come down in a few weeks, maybe that's closer towards 2000, and maybe that's a nice entry for people, or maybe that gets front run. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people wanting to buy at the 2000 level. So, you know, I'm not saying we definitely get there. For me, this back test is completed, but it's just something to bear in mind on Ethereum, where it's been a bit weaker. Does it now start to show relative strength? And do we get a more shallow pullback on Ethereum? And we start to see it reverse its trends against Bitcoin and Solana? Or does it actually concede to show weakness and we come down towards 2000? It's a little bit more uncertain. But yeah, I think anywhere sub 2,500 is a great area to build an Ethereum position. So that's what I'm going to be doing myself. And if we just look at the other major, which is Solana, we can see that Solana was in this pennant, and we actually came down, we reached the pennant on a wick. Well, I should say we actually trapped, we actually came out and we got above it, but then we came since below it. So obviously we've now got this channel, and it's kind of gone into this channel formation, but it's looking like we've now, well, we are rejecting the sort of previous pennant descending trend line. And obviously, if we reject here, it opens up the risk that we will come down to the lower end of this pennant and have another test of this ascending pennant trend line, which would be, you know, around the mid 130s. So, and also that could line up with a 50% if we come down again over the next sort of 2 or 3 weeks. If we come down sooner and sharper, maybe we come down to the 618 around about 130. So I think that 130 is a really good level to bid sol. Obviously, this pennant trend line has already been invalidated on a wick. We could come down a wick again into the 120 level. So I think with something like Solana, I'm going to be looking at the general direction of what Bitcoin's doing and trying to sort of figure out, you know, when's the time to actually go in aggressive on Solana with a long position. But for me, I'm probably going to sort of ladder in to my orders as we start to come down. I mean, around the 140 to 130, sort of the lower end of this pennant, I think is pretty good value for Solana. Looking ahead over the next sort of 6 to 9 months, I mean, all of these positions that I'm talking about here accumulating, these are not short-term sort of day trades. These are not sort of 1 to 2 week swing trades. These are really positions for the next 6 to 9 months, or even 3 to 6 months. But I do think where we are right now, okay, we're coming into, you know, the end of the summer 2024. I'd be surprised if the bull run does not go on until at least early summer 2025. So, you know, we're in August, 6 months puts us into February of next year. I don't really think we'll top out in the first quarter next year. We could do, I think the earliest might be March, but I think it's more likely it would run into summer until we kind of saw the markets top out, or even into the end of next year. So this is why I'm saying I think 6 to 9 months is probably the time horizon that you want to be sort of basing these trades and basing your current positions on. I wouldn't be looking for, you know, massive sales before then, unless the market shows us something completely different. So there we go. Finally, let's just touch upon total 3. So obviously, this is all of the altcoins. So this is everything excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And if we just look on a weekly, you'll see that we've come down to 500 billion, which was an area that I personally wanted to see us come back and test. We just take a fib retracement. We can see that's also the 618 level. So pretty interesting right there that we've come back. We've tagged our 618 perfectly. Now we've got a reversal candle off that level, and it looks like to me that we're probably gonna maybe come back down and retest one more time, but altcoins should hold that 200-week moving average support, provided we're going to stay in the bull market. And obviously this ties into Bitcoin holding its 50-week moving average, to Ethereum holding the 2000 level and its 200-week moving average. Obviously the rest of the altcoin sector holding its 200-week moving average. And I think these are great longer term levels to look for positions in. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. And I think that summarizes this update fairly nicely. I wouldn't be aping in right now, but I would start to look for levels, start to get orders in and prepare to buy the dip, because I do think this might be the last really, really great opportunity you have for longer term positions for this bull run that I'm, I don't want to say I'm 100%, but I'm highly confident will extend into 2025. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. I will endeavor to come up with an update far sooner than this one has been. So yes, I plan to be coming up with updates over the next sort of week. If my current intention is to try and do 2 a week. So, want to do sort of like a midweek update and probably an end of week update. So yes, thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed the content, please do like, share and subscribe. Really help support the channel. I'm looking to grow the channel and get the message out there to more people to really help them navigate what are pretty tricky crypto markets right now. But hopefully this provides you with some clarity. Have a great day. Peace and love to all of you, and see you on the next one.